Hello and welcome to Nullitaire Gaming, where we play games with 0 players. Or in other words, we play bots against one another. And in this series we've been playing Imperium, both Classics and Legends, by Nigel Buckle and David Turtsey. And we're in the middle of the tournament at this point. We've been putting the bots up against each other in a single elimination style tournament. And if you haven't seen any of the tournament so far, I recommend that you go back and watch it from the beginning. I'll put a link in the description of this video to the entire playlist, so you can go back and watch it from the beginning if you like. Okay, so spoiler alert, I'm about to show you the the tournament as it stands. Okay, so here's the bracket right now. We've played the entire first round. Okay, we completed that in its entirety. And we've started the second round. We've played one game, the Arthurians versus the Egyptians, and the Egyptians won that round. And so it's time now to move on to the Persians and the Atlanteans. Okay, we'll get the game set up and we'll get going. Okay, the game is now set up. You may notice, if you're familiar with my other videos, that I have a piece of black felt down on the table here. That's because there's currently a puzzle on the table. So I'm covering that up so that I can play my game on top of it. Okay, but I don't know, I kind of quite like the look of it. The colors kind of pop a little bit better. I might continue using it in the future, I'm not sure. Anyway, we have it all set up. As always, I chose randomly which player would be the first player, and the Persians came up to be first player. Also, as usual, I have covered the tables that are not relevant to the current state of play, so that I don't accidentally read the wrong table. So the Persians Empire table is covered up here, so I only look at the Barbarian table. Okay, so the first player is here on the left, and their hand is the top row, and the second player here, the Atlanteans, their hand is the bottom row. And as usual, I've lined up their deck with their appropriate hand. Alright, the Atlanteans are a little bit special. They start as an empire, so they're just an empire from the very beginning. And that means they only have one table to care about. So this is just covering up some other faction. I think the Arthurians are under there. Okay, and I've decided to just go ahead and put their deck and discard pile just right on top of this, so that'll make it a little bit easier to deal with. And as always, the Dynasty decks are set back a little ways from the main action, so that I don't accidentally draw a card from there when it's too early. Okay, we're all set up and ready to go, so the Persians will be first. Here we go. The Persians rolled a 5, and their first card is Prosperity. Okay, so I believe that's a named card on their chart. Yes, there it is. Discard the top card from the bot deck. Gain 1 material and 1 population per bot region in play. You may draw a card. Alright, so we need to reinterpret this because, again, I've said this before, but these bots were designed for solitaire play, not for nullitaire play. So we need to reinterpret some of the language here. Okay, first, discard the top card from the bot deck. Well, we have 2 bots in play. So, obviously during solitaire play there'd only be 1 bot, so it would be obvious what's meant. Alright, but in this case the bot refers to this bot, so we're talking about the Persians. So anytime it says the bot, that means whoever's, whatever faction we're reading their table at this moment. Okay, so that means that the Persians will discard the top card of their deck. They won't gain any materials or population because they don't have any regions in play. Again, bot regions here means this bot, not the others. Doesn't matter right now because there are no regions, but for future reference. Also, you may draw a card. You refers to the solitaire player, which we don't have in this game. So you will simply refer to the other bot. So this is telling us that the Atlanteans may draw a card. But the thing is, bots don't have hands in the traditional sense, so they don't draw cards. And we're told in the rules that whenever a bot is told to draw a card, they simply discard a card from their deck. So that's what they'll do. Alright, so all that comes to both bots discard a card. The next card is a region, Zagros. And I believe region will come up first. Yeah, pinned is there, but region is first. Okay, gain 1 population, play this region, exile a card from the market. As always, when bots exile cards from the market, they always start from the left, and they just take the first card that has no tokens on it. Therefore, the Axiomites will be exiled. Next card is another region, Bactria, and therefore we're going to have a repeat. So they're going to gain a population, play this region, and exile a card. This time they'll exile Island. Last card for the Persians is Conquer, which has the barbarian symbol on it. And that will be the first priority, yes. Okay, if able, spend 3 population, they don't have that many, to break through for a tributary and put this card into history. So they won't do that. Otherwise, if able, spend 2 materials. Again, they do not have that many. To acquire a civilized or uncivilized card. So they won't do that. Otherwise, gain 1 material and 1 population and put this card on top of the bot deck. Okay, so they're going to do that last thing. That's the end of the turn for the Persians. So they will place a progress token on the 5 card to match the die. Then they will slide this 1 card all the way down and refill their hand. The Atlanteans' turn now. They roll a 4, and they start with a region, Thule, which is an Empire card too. Okay, looks like a region is up first for them. Yep. Exile a card from the market and play this region. So they will exile the first card in the market, which is Urban Development. The next card is also a region, Elysian Fields. So it looks like we're going to get a repeat. Yes, exile a card and play this region. So this time they will exile the Greeks. And yet another region, Hesperides. So same thing again. Going to exile a card from the market and play this region. We are really going through the tributaries here. So the Armenians now get exiled. Last card for the Atlanteans is Unrest. That simply goes back to the Unrest pile. Alright, so we place Progress on the 4 card in the market. Then we slide this card down, and they'll refill their hand. The Persians start their turn by rolling a 6, so they're going to play all of their cards, starting with some Unrest. Will simply be put on the Unrest pile. Next is the Conquer card again. So as I recall, that had a quite complicated instructions. Yes, it's a barbarian card. If able, spend 3 population. Well, they can do that now. They picked up some population last time they played this. So they'll spend 3 population to break through for a tributary, and then this card will go into history. So when bots break through, they first will just take whatever's in the marketplace, if able, and before they go searching through the decks. So we have a tributary in the marketplace, so they will simply take Sumerians. They will not take the Unrest because they're breaking through, and this will simply go on top of their pile. And the Conquer card goes into history. Next card for the Persians is Glory. Okay, which I believe is a named card here on their chart. Yeah, right here at the top. If able, abandon 3 regions. No, they only have 2 regions in play to gain the top fame card. Alright, they can't do that. Otherwise, break through for a region. They'll do that. There is a region in play, Grassland, so they will simply take it. The next card is Unrest. Simply goes back to the Unrest pile. And now we have a tributary, the Lydians. Both barbarian and tributary. We'll see which comes up first. Tributary comes first. Gain 2 materials and 2 population. Discard the top card from the bot deck. Put this card into history. That's the end of the turn for the Persians. Since they rolled a 6, they won't place any progress. They'll simply refill their hand. However, they don't have enough cards to do that. They only have 2 cards in their deck. Therefore, they will take the top card of the Dynasty deck, put it in discard, and shuffle up. The Atlanteans are up now. They roll a 5. They start with an Unrest card. Easy. Next card is Flood. Okay, which is an Empire card. Okay. So, I guess we go all the way down here to Empire. Yeah, I don't see anything else that's going to be relevant. Okay. If able, history a played region to acquire any. Otherwise, break through for a region, put this card in history. Yeah, I remember playing this bot before and being very confused by this instruction. History a played region. I mean, that is clear enough, I guess. Put a played region into history. But then it says to acquire any. And that's an odd syntax for this game, because typically they write it like that. Acquire, and then they just write all the icons with slashes. That means acquire any icon. So writing acquire any is unusual. You know, we would have expected them to write like that. I suspect that this was probably an editing error somewhere along the way. This didn't get caught or something. Maybe they changed the way they did it. I don't know, whatever. But anyway, that's what it means. So take a card, take a region from play, put it into history to acquire any card. And they do have some regions in play, so they can do that. Otherwise, break through for a region, put this card in history. All right, so they're going to take their most recently played region, which is Hesperides, put that into history, and then they'll acquire a card from the market for doing so. So bots always take the card from the market that has the highest value in victory points. So right now that is this card, Cataphract, which is worth 3. 2 written on the card, and the 1 progress makes it 3. So they will acquire that, including the Unrest. They'll simply put it on top of their deck with the Unrest on top. And the Flood card also goes into history. The next card is another Flood. So we're going to get a repeat here. They have more regions in play, so they can put more in history. So I'll take the most recent one, put it into history, and break through, then acquire any card in the market. So there's a tie in the market for highest victory point value. Education here is worth 2, written right on the card. And religion is worth 2, 1 written on the card plus the 1 progress. So the first tiebreaker when that happens is the card with the most tokens on it. So that will be religion. They will acquire that. Last card for the Atlanteans is Atlantean Fleet, which has the attack symbol and the Empire symbol on it. Attack comes first. Okay. So acquire any card, steal a progress, and the Persians must recall a region. Now agriculture is worth the most in the market. It has the asterisk, which we always treat as 5 victory points with bots, so they will acquire that. They're also going to steal the progress from the Persians and force the Persians to recall their latest region, which means put it back on top of their deck. Okay, that's the end of the turn for the Atlanteans. They place progress on the 5 card in the market. Let's slide this card down and refill their hand. The Persians are up again. They rolled a 2, and their first card is the Sumerians, a tributary card. And so they will gain 2 population and 2 material and 2 population. Discard the top card of their deck, and the Sumerians will go into history. Next card is Conquer, which is a barbarian card. If able, spend 3 population. Yes, they can do that. To break through for a tributary and put this card into history. Alright, so they're going to do that. There are no tributaries in the market. We've been going through them quickly. So they'll have to go through the deck here and look for one to break through for. No luck yet. Okay, there we go. We have the Etruscans. I'll take that. The next card for the Persians is Prosperity. So, I believe that's named, yeah, here. Discard the top card from the bot deck. Gain a material and a population per bot region in play. So that's the Persians regions. They have one, so they'll get one of each. And then the Atlanteans will also discard a card from the top of their deck. Last card for the Persians is Grassland, a region card. So gain one population, play the region, and exile a card from the market. They will exile Monument. Okay, that's all for the Persians. They'll place Progress on the 2 card. Slide this card down and refill their hand. They do not have enough cards, however. They only had 2 cards left in their deck. So, another Dynasty card, and they'll shuffle up. The Atlanteans now roll a 6, so they're going to play all of their cards, starting with Prosperity. Okay. Which is a named card for them as well. Gain 1 progress per played region. They have only 1 region in play, so they'll get 1 progress. And the Persians will discard the top card of their deck. The next card is Unrest. Simply goes back to the pile. And then Agriculture, which is uncivilized and pinned. So we'll have to see what they want to do with this. Here's pinned. Okay, they don't even have uncivilized on here. Okay, so acquire any card and put this card into history. Okay, the card in the market worth the most is this Tributary, Chin. It has that asterisk, which always counts as 5 for the bots. So they will acquire that, including the Unrest. And then Agriculture will go into history. Next card is more Unrest. And then another uncivilized card, Religion, also pinned. It looks like we'll have a repeat of that last round. Yes, acquire any card, put this card into history. The card in the market now worth the most is Oracle, also has that asterisk on it, so they will acquire that. Okay, that's the end of the turn for the Atlanteans. They rolled a 6, so they do not place any progress in the market. They simply refill their hand. The Persians roll a 2 this time and start with Advance, which is a barbarian card. Okay, so if able, spend 3 population. Yes, they have 3 population to break through for a tributary and put this card into history. So that's what they'll do. Again, there are no tributaries in the market, so they'll go searching for one in the main deck. Oh, found one right away. It's the Minoans. The next card is Unrest, and then Prosperity again. Okay, so discard the top card from the bot deck. Gain a material and a population per bot region in play. There are 2 in play, so they'll get 2 of each. And then the Atlanteans will also discard a card. Okay, last card for the Persians is a region, Bactria. And so they will gain a population, play the region, and exile a card from the market. So they will exile the Temple. That's the end of the Persian turn. They place Progress on the 2 card. Slide that down, and they will refill their hand. But they only have 1 card left in their deck. So, once again, card from the Dynasty deck, and they'll shuffle up. The Atlanteans roll a 6 again, so they're going to play all of their cards, starting with Unrest, and then Oracle, which is uncivilized and also barbarian. Okay, so barbarian is their first priority. Discard the top card of the bot deck. Return an Unrest from discard if able. Yes, they can definitely do that. I can see one right there. And put this card into history. Here's some more Unrest. So the Atlanteans are getting rid of a lot of Unrest this turn. And here's a tributary, the Chin, which is also pinned. Okay, which comes up first? Oh, they don't have tributary on here. Interesting. Okay, so pinned. Acquire any card and put this card into history. Well, the card in the market worth the most is Moneylenders, which again has that asterisk, so that makes it worth 5. So they will acquire that. Last card for the Atlanteans now is Cataphract, which is attack and Empire, also a civilized card. So let's see what comes up first. Attack. Looks like that's first. Okay. Acquire any card, steal a progress, and force the Persians to recall a region. The card in the market worth the most is Diplomacy. It's worth 3. 1 written on the card plus the 2 progress makes that worth 3, so they will acquire that. The Persians don't have any progress, so the Atlanteans won't steal that. But they are still required to recall their latest region, which was Bactria, so that will go back on top of their deck. That's the end of the turn for the Atlanteans. They rolled a 6, so they don't place any progress in the market. Instead, they just refill their hand, but I don't think they have enough cards. Let's see. Okay, just short by 1. So they'll take the top card from their Dynasty deck and shuffle up. Persians are up now. They rolled a 2, and they start with Glory, which is named on their chart. If able, abandon 3 regions to gain the top Fame card. They can't do that. They only have 2 regions in play. So otherwise, they'll break through for a region. So they'll do that. There are 2 regions in the market. Both are worth 1 victory point. This one has 1 victory point written on it. This one has a progress token. So first tiebreaker is most tokens. Therefore, they will take Forest. Next card is a tributary, Median Empire, which is a barbarian as well as a tributary. And tributary is first. Gain 2 material and 2 population. Discard the top card from the bot deck. Put this card into history. Next card is another tributary, the Minoans. So looks like we're going to have a repeat. Gain 2 of each. Discard the top card from the bot deck, and this card goes to history. Last card for the Persians is Prosperity. And so they will discard a card from the bot deck. Gain 1 of each per region in play. So they have 2 regions in play, so 2 more of each of those. And the Atlanteans also discard a card. That's the end of the turn for the Persians. They'll place a progress on the 2 card and refill their hand. But their deck is empty. So another card from the Dynasty deck, and they'll shuffle. And the Atlanteans roll a 6 again. So getting very lucky for them. They're going to play all of their cards once again, starting with some Unrest, and then Diplomacy. Okay, this is both civilized and uncivilized. Okay, let's see what they want to do with that. It's none of these. Looks like we get all the way to other here. Okay. Place the top card from the Dynasty deck into the discard pile and put this card into history. So we'll take the top card from the Dynasty deck, put it into the discard pile, and Diplomacy goes into history. Next card is more Unrest, and then Moneylenders, which is civilized as well as Empire. Okay, we know they don't care about civilized or uncivilized, so we'll get to Empire here. If able, history a played region. Yes, they can do that. To acquire any card, otherwise break through, put this card into history. Alright, they'll take the region they have in play, which is Thule, put it into history, and they'll acquire any card for doing that. Okay, the card in the market that's worth the most is clearly the Vikings. They have the asterisk there, plus a progress, so this is worth 6 victory points, so they will acquire that. And then Moneylenders will go into history. Last card for the Atlanteans is Cataphract, which is an attack card as well as an Empire card. Attack is first. Acquire any card, steal a progress, and force the Persians to recall a region. Well, the card in the market worth the most now is Shaduf, so they will acquire that. They will steal the only progress token that the Persians have and force them to recall their latest region, which is grassland. That's the end of the turn for the Atlanteans. They rolled a 6, so they do not place any progress. They simply refill their hand. The Persians roll a 5, and they begin with another tributary, Etruscans. So that will be gaining 2 materials and population again. Discard the top card of their deck, and this card will go into history. It's Bactria again, the region. And so they will gain a population, play the region, and exile a card. So they will exile fortified region. Next card is another region, Nicean Plain. So we get a repeat, gain a population, play the region, exile a card. And they exile Oasis. Here's Glory again, a named card on their chart. If able, abandon 3 regions. Yep, they just put 2 regions in play, so just up to 3. To gain the top Fame card. Okay, that's what they're going to do. So they have abandoned their 3 regions, and they will take the top Fame card, put it on their deck. That's the end of the turn for the Persians. They'll place Progress on the 5 card in the market. Slide this card down and refill their hand. I guess the Atlanteans are getting tired of playing all their cards every turn, so they roll a 4 this time. Unrest. And then Shaduf, which is a pinned card and uncivilized, but we already know they don't care about civilized or uncivilized, so pinned card. Acquire any card and put this card into history. The card worth the most in the market is clearly Exports, which has that asterisk there, so they will acquire that. Next card for them is more Unrest. And then a region, Mountain of Atlantis. Okay, which is also Empire, but region is first. Acquire any card and put this card into history. Oh shoot, I'm reading the wrong thing. That's pinned. Card is also pinned, but region is first. Exile a card from the market and play this region. So they will exile a river. That's it for the Atlanteans. They'll place Progress on the 4 card in the market. Slide this card down and refill their hand. The Persians are up again. They roll a 2 and start with Prosperity. Okay, and so the Persians discard a card. They gain a population and a material for every region in play. They don't have any regions right now. And so both the Persians and the Atlanteans will just discard a card. Next card is a region, Grassland. And so they're going to gain a population, play the region, and exile a card from the market. They'll exile Watermill. Next card, no big surprise, another region, Forest. And so same thing again, they'll gain a population, play the region, and exile a card. This time they'll exile Invasion. And of course another region, Aracosia. So again, they'll play that region, gain a population, and exile a card. Oh, I forgot to put a card there. There we go. Exile City. Okay, that's the end of the Persians' turn. They'll place Progress on the 2 card, and they'll refill their hand. Their deck is empty, however, so they place the next Dynasty card, which is their full moon card, the City of Persepolis. So when that goes into the discard, they become an empire. The Atlanteans start by rolling a 2, and they play Vikings, a tributary with both attack and empire. So I think attack will be first. Yes. Okay. Acquire any card, steal a progress, and they will force the Persians to recall a region. Well, the card in the market that's worth the most right now is this version of town. There's two towns, and they both have these question marks. And bots always treat question marks as worth the highest value printed. So this is 2 VPF in history. So this is just worth 2 victory points for the bots. But this one has a progress token on it, so that's worth 3. The Persians don't have any progress to steal, but they can force the Persians to recall a region. Next card is Exports, which also has the attack symbol. So that's probably what they're going to do here. And that comes before Empire, so yes, they'll acquire any card. They can't steal progress, but they can force the Persians to recall another region. So now there's several cards in the marketplace worth 2. Town over here, education here, and road building, which has a progress and is worth 1. So the first tiebreaker is the most progress token. So they will take I'll take road building. Next card is prosperity, which for the Atlanteans means gain a progress per played region. They only have 1 in play, so they'll get 1 progress. And the Persians will discard a card. Last card for the Atlanteans is the fleet, which also has that attack icon. So once again, they're going to acquire a card. Still can't steal any progress, but there's still another region in play for the Persians, so they can force them to recall it. This time town and education are both the highest in the market with 2 each. Neither of them have any tokens on them, so the next tiebreaker is just the lowest number, which just means the furthest to the left in the market. So they'll take town. That's the end of the turn for the Atlanteans. They'll place progress on the 2 card in the market, and then will refill their hand. The Persians roll a 1 and start with Bactria, a region. They are now an empire, so they'll be using this new chart. So we'll have to get used to this one. Let's see, so this is a region. It also has pinned, but region comes first. So play the region, exile a card from the market. They will exile corruption. Next card is another region, so we will get a repeat here. Play the region and exile a card. They will exile hills this time. Here is the city of Persepolis, which is a pinned card. So I believe that will be the first priority. Yes, okay. Put this card in history. Oh, that's easy. Last card is another region, Nicene Plain. And so play the card and exile the card from the market. They will exile domestication. That's the end of the turn for the Persians. They'll put progress on the 1 card and refill their hand. The Atlanteans roll a 5, and they start with some unrest. Next card is exciting, more unrest. And then, oh, okay, not unrest. Town, barbarian card, which I believe is their first priority, yes. Just discard the top card. Return an unrest from discard, if able. I'll have to check and see if they have any. And then this card goes to history. Well, as soon as they discarded a card, it was right there. So that goes to the unrest pile, and this card goes to history. And last card for them is more unrest. Okay, so they'll place progress on the 5 card in the market. Slide this card down, and they will refill their hand. But they only have 1 card left in their deck. So, another card off the Dynasty deck, and they'll shuffle. The Persians roll a 2 and start with a Fame card, awe-inspiring. And Fame is at the top of their table, so they'll do this. Spend 3 population to gain 1 progress as many times as possible. Put this card into history. The Persians have 16 population, so that doesn't quite divide by 3. So taking 1 away, they'll spend 15 and gain 5 progress for doing so. And then this card will go into history. Next card is a region, Aracosia. And so we play it and exile a card from the market. This time there's some tokens on the first card, so we go all the way over to education and exile that. Here's prosperity again, but now we have a new chart which doesn't list prosperity anymore. Okay, and there are no other icons on this card. Well, there are no icons on this card, so we'll go to other. If able, acquire a region, otherwise gain a progress. Yeah, they can acquire a region. There are 2 regions in the market. Archipelago has 2 tokens on it, and Coast has 1. Neither has any victory points listed, so they'll take the one worth 2. Last card for the Persians is Glory, which is still named on their chart here. If able, abandon 3 regions. Yes, they can do that to gain the top fame card. Otherwise, place the top card from the Dynasty deck into the discard. Okay, they can abandon 3 regions to gain the top fame card. So 3 regions went into the discard pile, and they pick up a new fame card. That's the end of the turn for the Persians. So they place progress on the 2 card, and they will refill their hand. I do not believe they have enough cards. No. Okay, so they'll take a new card from the Dynasty deck and shuffle. The Atlanteans now roll a 5 and start with road building. There's a pinned card. Okay, here. Acquire any card and put this card into history. They will take Amphitheater. Next card is Town, which has the Barbarian symbol on it, which means they will discard the top card of their deck, return Unrest from the discard if able, and put this card into history. Once again, as soon as they've discarded that card, they had some Unrest. Okay, next card is Exports, which has the attack symbol on it. I think that will be their first priority. Acquire any card, steal a progress, and force the Persians to recall a region. They will acquire Onager from the market. They will steal one of those progress tokens from the Persians, and then force them to recall Bactria. Next card is Flood, which is an Empire card. So, if able, history a played region. They do have a region in play, and so they can do that. They can put it into history to acquire any card. And then Flood will go into history. They will acquire the Hittites. That's the end of the turn for the Atlanteans. They'll place progress on the 5 card. Slide this down and refill their hand. The Persians roll a 6, so they're going to play all their cards, starting with their attempt to put all the regions back in play. It's grassland. So they're going to play it and then exile a card from the market. They will exile City. Next card is another fame card, Great. So spend a 3 population to gain progress as many times as possible. Well, they don't have enough progress anymore. They already did this, and they haven't gained any population. So they can't do that. So this card will simply go into history. Next card is another region, Archipelago. Therefore, they're going to play it and exile a card. And they will exile Rainforest. The main deck is now depleted, which triggers the end game. So that means we will have the completion of this round. The Persians will end their turn, and the Atlanteans will take their turn. And then we'll have one more round, the Persians and the Atlanteans. And that'll be the end of the game. We'll tally up the score and see who wins. So Forest is the next card. Once again, they will play it and then exile a card from the market. This time it'll be Art. Here is Darius the First, which is an Empire card. Okay, so that's going to be down here. Acquire any card and put this card into history. Both Coast and Cataphract are both worth 2, but Coast has more tokens, so they'll take that. Okay, that's the end of the Persians' turn. They do not place progress because they rolled a 6. They'll just refill their hand. Well, not to be outdone, and also, yet again, the Atlanteans roll a 6. So they're going to play all of their cards, starting with Vikings, which is a tributary with attack and empire. So I think attack is going to be the priority, yes. Acquire any card, steal a progress, and force the Persians to recall a region. They will acquire Cataphract, and they will steal one of those progress tokens and force the Persians to recall the forest. Next card is Unrest, and then another tributary, Hittites. No symbols on this card other than tributary, so I think we're going to get all the way to other on this, because they do not have tributaries in here. Okay, place the top card from the Dynasty deck into the discard pile and put this card into history. Alright, so we'll take a top card of the Dynasty deck, put it into discard, and the Hittites go to history. Next card, big surprise, is Unrest. And then we have the Onager. That's that attack symbol again. So that means they'll acquire a card, steal a progress, and force the Persians to recall a region again. So they will acquire Metropolis, then steal a progress, and force the Persians to recall Archipelago. That's the end of the Atlanteans' turn. They rolled a 6, so they don't place any progress. They'll just refill their hand. Okay, so this is the last chance for the Persians. They roll a 3, and they start by playing Coast, which of course means they will put it into play and exile a card from the market. So they will exile Astronomy. Next card is another region, of course, so they'll put that into play and exile another card from the market, which will be Elders. And wouldn't you know it, it's another region, the Nicaean Plain, which will be put into play, and they'll exile a card, this time City. And who could have guessed it? It's another region, it's Zagros, and so of course they'll put it into play and exile a card from the market. This time they'll exile Diplomacy. The market is getting pretty wiped out now. There's only some regions left. Okay, that's the end of the turn for the Persians. They've placed some progress on the 3 card, but there isn't one, so they will simply refill their hand. Okay, this is it, the last turn. The Atlanteans roll a 5. And they start with their favorite card, Unrest. Next card is Metropolis, so pinned, and Empire. We pinned this first, yeah. Acquire any card, not much to choose from, and this card goes into history. Well, there's exactly one card to choose from, so they'll take this region right here, Plain. Next card, you guessed it, Unrest. And then final card for the Atlanteans will be Cataphract, which is an attack card. So that means they're going to acquire any card, steal from the Persians one last time, and force them to recall a region. So they acquire the Highlands, run over to the Persians, steal a progress, and force them to recall their latest region. Okay, that's all for the Atlanteans. Just for the sake of completeness, they would place a progress token on the 5 card in the market, which is the only card left in the whole market, and refill their hand. As long as they have at least 4 cards, which they do, that's the end of the game. Okay, let's see who won. Alright, it's time to resolve the winner of the game. As always, I don't like to add up the scores and then compare them. I prefer the drama and the ease, actually, of just comparing 1 for 1, but just taking away victory points one at a time and matching up 1 for 1, and then whoever has victory points left is the winner, because they have more, obviously. So let's take care of these tokens first and foremost. The Atlanteans had an Unrest card left in their deck, which is a -2 victory points, so we'll offset that by getting rid of 2 progress tokens. And now we'll match up 1 for 1 here. The Persians had 5 progress tokens, and so we'll take 5 away from the Atlanteans. And now for every 10 materials and population combined, that is worth 1 victory point. So this counts as 1 victory point for the Persians. So I'll have to break that and make it 9 victory points. And that's it. There's not enough here to make another one. Okay, so after figuring out the tokens, the Atlanteans have 9 victory points remaining. So to offset these 9 victory points, I found 9 victory points worth of cards in the Persians deck. This is a fame card. Its question marks are worth the highest number listed. So 6 VP is the highest number listed there. So this is worth 6, and this one's worth 3. So that clears all of that. Okay, we'll look at the rest of the cards and see who wins. Okay, so as usual, I've put all the cards in 2 columns here, and we'll go down the columns, and I've matched them up 1 for 1 in each column. Whichever faction runs out of cards first is the losing team. So here we go. The fame card from the Persians. That's 7 victory points. Then we have some 5 victory point asterisk cards here, matching those up. 3 victory points here, and uh-oh. The Persians ran out actually quite quickly, and it wasn't even close. This is 48 victory points for the Atlanteans. So the Atlanteans won by a landslide. It wasn't even close. The thing is, I think the Persians, their main gameplay seemed to be, putting out regions and trying to convert those into fame. But the Atlanteans just kept stealing progress from them, making them put their regions back. So the Persians just really couldn't get that engine going. They were constantly being forced to recall their regions. Anyway, the Atlantean strategy seemed to work. They won by a landslide. Well, there you have it. The Atlanteans are victorious, so they move on in our tournament. And the next game up will be the Olmecs versus the Macedonians. I hope you'll join me when we see that matchup. Till then.